This section is about transportation available to students at OJC. We're going to shift to transportation, and there are several options for getting around La Junta. La Junta Transit is a city bus system. Now, some students find it kind of funny because they're usually the only people on the bus under 50 years old. But it does work. If you're picked up along the bus's regular route, it costs only 50 cents. If you're being picked up for an appointment, in other words, if you call and make a request to be picked up at a special location, it's $1 one way. We've made arrangement with La Junta Transit to do a special errand run on Fridays that goes out to Walmart. The cost is $1 to get there and $1 to get back. Be at the bus stop in front of Wunsch Hall at the scheduled time for pickup and in front of Walmart at the pickup time, or you'll be left to find your own way back to campus. Make sure to bring exact change for the bus. There are lots of places that are close enough to walk to. If you're walking at night, stay on the sidewalk and wear bright clothes so that cars can see you. La Junta is a very safe place, but you still need to be aware of your surroundings. Biking is an awesome way to get around and go a little further than you might feel comfortable walking. Make sure you buy a lock for your bike so that you don't risk someone taking off with it. This year, we're piloting a new Borrow a Bike program exclusively for international students. There are 5 bikes that must be checked out. You can check them out for up to 3 days, along with a bike lock. If you want the bike for the weekend, then you can have access to it. There is no cost to check out a bike. However, if you fail to return the bike on time, you will be charged a late return fee. If you keep the bike over 5 days past the return date, or you return it completely demolished, you will be charged $100 so that a new bike can be purchased. Keep in mind there are 40 international students on campus and only 5 bikes. If you misuse this privilege, it's not just you who suffers, but each and every one of the other international students at OJC. Asking for a ride is something every college student in America without a car has done, including me. The best option is to ask, "Are you headed near Doko Doko, the place where you want to go tomorrow? If so, can I go with you?" It's also helpful and respectful to offer a little bit of money to help cover the cost of gas. To give you an idea, the cost of a trip to Pueblo is generally around between $30 and $50, depending on a car's gas mileage. By pitching in $1 for a ride out to Walmart or $5 or so for a ride to Pueblo, it makes it more feasible for someone to give you a lift, and it keeps it from being a one-sided deal. Borrowing a car is not something I highly recommend, but if you do it, return it the same way that you got it. That means with gas, clean, and preferably undamaged. Make sure that person's insurance will cover you, or that you have insurance to cover you in case of an accident. If you are wanting to buy a car, make sure you take into account taxes, registration, insurance, license plate, etc. Get some advice from friends and please be careful. Students that have a license in their home country may drive up to 1 year on their international license, but sometimes it depends on the country that you're from. You can also get a driver's permit or an American driver's license. However, keep in mind to get a license, you will need to have a car to take the driving test. Do not drive a car that is not covered by insurance. It can be devastating if there is an accident. You can get your license taken away, and there are serious fines. Details on how to get an American license are available in this module, as well as the Colorado Driver's Manual, if you need to study for the test. Keep in mind that you can take this test in a language other than English as well. Traveling within the U.S. or abroad from La Junta can be a challenge, as the only public transportation leaving the city is Amtrak, the train, and the stops are limited. For this reason, we've arranged airport runs to Denver International Airport at the start and end of each semester. Start of term runs are scheduled separately for new and returning students. New students have orientation and they must take the AccuPlacer and test and register for classes. So we ask them to come in on the Thursday before the start of classes each semester. But we leave the time that they can arrive open, meaning that we'll pick them up as early or as late as they arrive. Returning students have a run that is scheduled on the Saturday before classes start, and they must be at the airport at baggage claim 10 no later than 10:30 p.m. While we will not wait for students scheduled to arrive after 10:30, if your flight is delayed, we will make arrangements to collect you. This may mean that the bus will wait for you, or it may mean that you have to get a room for the night in Denver, and we arrange to pick you up the following day. Sometimes it's just not a matter of time, but of safety. A one-way trip to Denver to the airport is about 3.5 hours. That's a minimum of 7 hours of driving for a person behind the wheel. Remember, sometimes it's simply safer to return and collect a student the next day, or have them take the Greyhound to Rocky Ford, rather than to collect them immediately. Because we are coordinating the arrival of 40 students, it's important to adhere to the schedule. If you do not or cannot arrive on the appropriate day, then we will not be able to collect you. If you can't find a ride with a friend in this circumstance, you can always catch the Greyhound bus from Denver to Rocky Ford, Colorado, a town about 15 to 20 minutes drive from La Junta. Make sure that I know when your bus comes so that I can collect you and that you're not left waiting at the bus stop. Departures happen the 2 days after finals in December and the 2 days after graduation in May. We leave La Junta at 6 a.m., arriving in Denver around 9:30 or 10 a.m., so flights will need to leave no earlier than 12 o'clock noon. If you have an earlier flight, you should schedule it for the day before and plan to stay the night in Denver. There are several hotels by the airport that are reasonably priced and have free shuttles to and from the airport. The only exception to these times that we will make is for exchange students on special programs, as their programs schedule their flights, not the students. So they are requested to fly in and out of Colorado Springs as opposed to Denver. If you choose to fly on a different day, you are responsible for arranging your own transportation. Again, remember we have 40 students to assist, so exceptions are not made because we have to keep the same policy for everyone. If we make an exception for one person, we have to make an exception for everyone, and that would mean chaos and we'd be unable to manage the full group. We love to have family come and visit our international students. It's a rare and precious treat. However, due to liability issues, we cannot transport parents, siblings, or any person that's not an OJC student, faculty, or staff member in an OJC van or bus. This is because the insurance will not cover non-OJC persons in the vehicle, and if there was an accident or issue, there would be some serious consequences. I will pick up parents and families that take the bus to Rocky Ford in my personal vehicle and take them to and from the airport if it's possible. But remember, at the start and end of semesters, when families most often come to visit, I'm usually driving one of the vans or running orientation, so it's not always possible for me to collect them, and you may have to make other arrangements. There are several hotels in La Junta, but none are particularly close to OJC. The closest is the Midtown Motel, and it's located downtown, just down 3rd Street from Lucy's Tacos. It's about 16 blocks to campus. It's a little older motel, but the staff is nice and the rooms are clean. I will do my best to help out with transportation, but again, that the times that parents generally come are some of our busiest, so I might not be available. Parents, siblings, and friends should not plan to stay with students in their dorm rooms. Remember, you'll have a roommate, and the wings are same-sex only. Please keep this in mind when planning your family's visit. Finally, if your family comes to visit, please bring them by the office to say hello. Again, if you need any assistance arranging anything, let me know and I'll do my best to assist.